So, in today's video, we'll be talking about if that new Muppet Show reboot special was actually really good or was it actually really bad. So, it's time to play the music, it's time to light the lights, it's time to talk about that new Muppet Show reboot special on Justin Dog's Puppets tonight. So, what are we waiting for? Let's talk about it. Before this video can officially begin, I would just like to give out a little disclaimer / warning that if you have not yet seen the new Muppet Show reboot special series thingamajig, I highly encourage you to pause this video because there may be spoilers and things that you actually want to see and view for yourself that you don't want spoiled here. That you go watch the special currently on Disney+. Disney+ is not sponsoring this video. I'm just letting you know, as my fellow Muppet loving people, go watch the special for yourself and then come back and then we can both share our thoughts in the comments below. This new Muppet Show reboot special is an event special that is to help revive the original 1976 series that was created by, of course, Jim Henson and a large team of others, with also the hopes of maybe trying to revitalize the series and bring it back for newer audiences. This Muppet Show special was executively produced by Seth Rogen. Yep, the comedian with the laugh, Seth Rogen. And not only is he an executive producer of this thing, but he's also a co-writer. And to help bring this thing alive, he's working through his production company, Point Grey Pictures. So all in all, this new Muppet Show reboot is a collaboration of Seth Rogen's company and, of course, the Walt Disney Company. So this reboot definitely opens up hitting all the nostalgic feels. The rebooted pilot opens up with Kermit and the gang turning on the lights of the old Muppet Theater, and they are ready to put on another episode of The Muppet Show. If you saw the trailer for this, same way the trailer opens up is the same way this special opens up as well. After we kind of see some banter back and forth backstage between Kermit and Ralph, Kermit says, "Yep, that's right, it's showtime," and he calls up to Scooter in the upper balcony of the backstage area. Scooter then does his classic Scooter thing, opens up the door and says,
25 seconds to curtain, folks.
As we then see Sabrina Carpenter walk from behind the changing podium and says, "Oh, okay, Scooter." She kind of gets a little startled and stunned by Miss Piggy. As they both are in awe of each other, they kind of compliment each other as they're wearing the same thing. Piggy then tells her, yeah, she might have to change. They both have a little bit more of a back and forth banter. And after that, that sends us right into the opening intro of the original Muppet Show. As this was happening, I couldn't help but smile and be filled with so much joy. It was so awesome and cool to see an updated version of the Muppet Show intro, but at the same time, hearkening back to the old school feel of the Muppet Show. I'm forgetting the puppeteer's name, but shout out to him that he even mentioned that he noticed something super cool that Disney usually would do in all their Muppet-based films, is that they would get rid of the puppet rods on the Muppet characters so that would make them seem more realistic and real. But just like the old school Muppet Show, from time to time in different skits and segments, you would happen to see an arm rod showing up from a Muppet character. Super cool that Disney was like, hey, if we're gonna do this, let's make it all authentic and sort of original. You just end up enjoying the intro alone. It's definitely worth the watch. The thing that was really good about this Muppet Show reboot, if you were a fan of the classic Muppet Show back in the day, or if you were a newer fan, I feel like it hits both beats on giving a good chunk to older Muppet fans that they can be satisfied with, and also delivering to newer Muppet fans that may not be so familiar with the older show. People delivers on both staying old school, but at the same time delivering to newer audiences and to the newer generation of fans. Great example being is Kermit introduces Sabrina Carpenter's first skit type song performance. Sabrina can be seen featured as a waitress working in a bar for Sam the Eagle. As the Muppet customers in the bar kind of get rowdy and start throwing bottles and things like that, and Sabrina, being the waitress, says, "No worries, Sam, I got it." That cues up her singing her original song, Man-Child. I would just like it to be noted that I'm not too familiar with Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm not too familiar with her music either, but it was sort of a catchy song, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious to see her dance with different Muppet chickens, and mess with and play with the different Muppet characters in said bar. And this segment alone reminded me of the original Muppet Show, where you would see the celebrity guest star messing and interacting with the Muppet characters in the sketch or segment that they were in. And surprisingly to me, she fit right in. And to be honest, in the remaining segments with Sabrina Carpenter throughout this entire show, whether she was backstage talking to Miss Piggy or Kermit or any other Muppet character, or whether she's on stage performing another musical number, any Muppet character, she fit right in. It wasn't off-putting, it wasn't weird and awkward and like, this really doesn't fit. And from what I do know about her, I do know that she was originally on Disney Channel as an actress on Girl Meets World. And I also know that she was in a rebooted Disney Channel version of Adventures in Babysitting. It definitely does help that she has had some acting experience in the past. To me, her being in this Muppet Show episode, the feeling and the cinematography of the camera work and just all around vibe that it gave off reminded me of two things. It's a very Merry Muppet Christmas movie, where at the beginning of that film, we're kind of like right in the middle of backstage area of the Muppet Show theater. Within that movie, we also see them performing several different skits and funny sketches. Another thing that this special reminded me of was also the 2011 version of the Muppets movie, because toward the middle and the end of that movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen that film, I feel like there's a good balance between a ton of different celebrity cameos, from celebrities being in the crowd to celebrities being backstage. I'm seeing people like Jack Black on stage performing with the different Muppet characters. And in this special, it's no different. We of course naturally have a cameo appearance by Seth Rogen himself. There's a little back and forth banter with Fozzie backstage, letting him know that his comedy act has been cut and they're going in a different direction. Also, another fun cameo appearance is by actress and comedian Maya Rudolph. We can see her sitting in the audience and having a back and forth banter and Beautiful Day Monster. And it even leads to her being in a breaking Muppet news flash. I don't want to give too much away about that, but I thought that segment was hilarious. Other fun segments, a sketch that they revisited, which I thought was super cool, was Muppet Labs with Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and his assistant Beaker. I thought that segment was pretty funny as well, and I highly encourage you to go check it out. Another fun and really cool segment that I thought was interesting and kind of a unique way to bring a modern feel to it is that Rizzo and his other rat friends end up doing their own rendition of The Weeknd's Blinded by the Lights. This segment was also really hilarious and funny, and with Rizzo being one of my other many favorite Muppet characters, it was so cool to see him shine and get the spotlight. Now sadly and unfortunately, Rizzo is no longer performed by Steve Whitmire, which of course puppeteer and new Muppet performer Bradley Freeman Jr. is the new voice and puppeteer of Rizzo, while he's also the new voice and puppeteer of Bean Bunny. And Bradley, man, I feel like you have only not knocked it out of the park, you've hit multiple home runs with getting Rizzo's character spot on. Another really cool thing to see was all of the special background Muppet character cameos that you see, not only in the crowd, but also backstage. So if you're watching on Disney Plus, you might have to pause in between scenes to really see who's back there, and you might just catch a glimpse of some of your very favorite Muppet characters. Also, another favorite segment of mine was, of course, my favorite Muppet, Gonzo. Of course, what is Gonzo doing? Performing a death-defying stunt on roller skates, trying to see if he can go through this obstacle course of axes and drills, and flying through the air while reciting supporting actresses' names off of a list. Of course, for Gonzo, this does not go to plan, as he is knocked backward into the backstage area on his roller skates. And what I thought was really funny is this sketch kind of keeps on going throughout the show, where either two Muppet characters are having a back and forth banter, or Sabrina Carpenter is talking to one of the Muppet characters, and randomly, all of a sudden, here comes Gonzo in frame, shouting out the names of different supporting actresses. So his death-defying stunt is still going on throughout the entire episode through different segments. I was, of course, very skeptical about Kermit's voice, and I always kid because I call him Kermit instead of Kermit. And all jokes aside, for you Matt Vogel Kermit voice lovers out there, I am not hating on the man. I think Matt is a phenomenal and incredibly talented puppeteer. I am not a fan of his Kermit the Frog voice, and at the same time, I do know it is very difficult to sound identical to anyone, and I do know that it's probably very challenging, daunting, and scary to try to step into some green flippered feet. And personally, I feel like Matt excels more at deeper voiced characters. He did an incredible job with Constantine. He does an amazing job with Uncle Deadly. He even does an outstanding job with Floyd Pepper, who's a part of the Electric Mayhem. I also know that he was Sweetums, but for some reason, when it comes to Kermit, he has him go at a low monotone voice. It starts to sound weird and less like Kermit.
Hey, Swedish Chef. Yay!
The main concern in this special, and also being a fellow puppeteer, was, is this Kermit Matt Vogel voice going to be so distracting that for me personally, I'm not able to pay attention to the rest of the episode? Because it's kind of hard to not have Kermit leading the way in a Muppet Show reboot when he's not only the host, he's the leader of the gang trying to keep everything together. I'm happy to report that Matt did a great job in this special. I don't know if he was given a note by Disney, if because now he's done Kermit for several years now, if he decided to pitch up his Kermit voice, where in times when Kermit needs to kind of get excited or kind of hyper, Matt does that very, very well. Do I think his Kermit is as good as Jim Henson? No. Do I think his Kermit is as good as Steve Whitmire? No. So at least for me in this special, this is the best Kermit performance that I've seen from Matt throughout the entire time that he's been Kermit. And I know a lot of you guys in the comments might say, well, Justin, it takes time for someone to get comfortable and use of the voice of a certain character, especially if they're taking on that role. And yes, while that is true, there are also certain beats and elements and people that he can talk to, and I'm pretty sure he has talked to, who can help him deliver the best Kermit performance as possible. And if this and a culmination of other things is what it took to help him give a decent Kermit performance, so be it. He not only did a great job delivering Kermit's lines, but he gave a lot of Kermit-ness characteristics in his performance throughout this entire episode. You may be a Matt Vogel lover of the new voice. More power to you on that. I feel like the new Muppet Show reboot definitely delivers, giving to both the older Muppet fan, the newer Muppet fan, and leaves on a high note of a promise for the future. Hey, thanks so much for watching this fun, awesome puppet-related video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned a lot, and if you did, please do me a favor and go check out the next video right here on the screen. Kermit and I think you will enjoy it, and we'll see you over there. Until next time, take care, and well, have an awesome day.